In this edition of the program, this episode of the program, Issues on ABS Radio and Television, we shall review 2023 Presidential and National Assembly elections. You're welcome. And of course, in the House, today we have Honorable Dr. Timothy Ifedo-Ranma, a member representing Njikoka 1 in the Anambra State House of Assembly. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yes, let's begin with your whole impression about the Presidential and National Assembly elections.
Well, I think I will start by congratulating all of us, Nigerians, for going through this process that so many people never thought it would have been made possible. But we thank God they did. And so, well, as we continue, we will now look at the things that the waters that might have gone under the bridge.
Yeah, did INEC live up to expectations?
To be honest with you, there are still so many gray areas that really need to be opened up as a flaw on the side of INEC, especially this issue of posting the result with uploading the result and into the server immediately they are collected from the polling units and all of that. So that delay in itself is really a big flaw, on the part of INEC, because that breeds a lot of suspicion and then pins on the integrity of the whole process.
Let's also look at the late arrival of materials. That's another flaw.
Yeah, that's a big one. In fact, I would, in law, there is something we say a matter is sub judice. At this point, I don't want to make certain comments, but I will score INEC, poorly, especially within the southeast. It does appear as if it's a deliberate act. I'm not preempting anything, neither am I being accusatory at this point. I'm just speaking my mind, because other regions of the country, there were up to 40-50% early arrival of materials to the polling units. But in the whole southeast, I don't think there was any place the election started before 10 o'clock. And that is really, really poor. They said it was 10% of early arrival of materials in this whole southeast. So to a lot of people, that's very suspicious. And that became a deliberate act, from the assertions of so many people. And you don't blame people if they make such assertion, whether right or wrong. The point is that they had in my own polling unit, we got the materials and the staffs arrived after 11, and voting never started until after 12. And then although they extended it a little bit and allowed people to, but then there were still people who were disenfranchised. I'm pretty sure from my own ends there are many. And likewise in so many other places. And so you now ask yourself, are we really, is everything all right in this nation? Where some part or some region will even extend their voting till the next day. Whereas in the southeast, I'm sure, when it gets to a certain time, they tell you they have to close. And we just, I can't understand. Like I said, I don't want to, say much, but there is so much questions that needs to be answered. INEC within the southeast, and let me say in Anambra, they perform very poorly. They perform poorly, unlike other elections.
Yeah, still on INEC, what are the innovations that innovations they put in the electoral process that changed
The narratives. Exactly. I like that. That is, I will give it to INEC. They have done well in terms of the introduction of some of these devices, especially the beavers, and that in itself has really, stereotyped so many things that ordinarily before you can almost predict. But if you look at the results as they are coming in, the ones we've had, especially between the south, east, south, and southwest, you see a keenly contested, tight, unpredictable. You see, somebody like P2B Labour Party doing so much well in so many areas that ordinarily, without these beavers, and stuff like this, the introduction of some of these gadgets, it would have been a very, you can offhand predict and tell how many votes they're going to have. But with these beavers, you can see, it's reflecting, to a very reasonable extent, the will of the people. And so to that extent, I will give them kudos for such innovations that have really brought some form of credibility to the electoral process. But my worry and the, where that very integrity is being pinched at this point is their inability to upload those results from the polling units, and that is very worrisome. Yes, that is worrisome. Some of the things you watch on the TV, they tell you somebody absconded with the paper for the code. They're giving different kinds of.
There's no network.
Yeah, but from what the INEC Information Commissioner had said repeatedly on the national TV, is that even when there is no network, upload it. The moment you get out and there is any signal, it picks up and it will deliver. So, but this one is that they refuse to upload it. It's not about network. You upload. Sometimes it does.
You send a message.
Yes, even with with our phones. And the moment you get to an area that it has network coverage, it will just deliver. So do that, and then let the network do the rest.
The program is used on ABS radio and television. Right, we are joined by Comrade Ken Okoli. Comrade Ken Okoli is the President, National Youth Wing. Asatu President. Comrade, welcome to the program.
Thank you. And
yes, let's know your impression about the presidential and national assembly elections held on the 25th.
Okay, we have some complaints here and there, especially the arrival of materials in the southeast, which is not commendable at all, because this election has to do with time. There's a time frame for this, and when the materials arrive late, what do you expect? You expect that certain persons may be disenfranchised technically, because you don't expect them to vote at night. And there's a time frame for this, which, or when you say by 6 or 7 p.m. that the voting should end. But the time they are supposed to start did not start. Then it's expected that you make adjustment on that.
Let's look at the redesign of the Naira. Honorable, did it play any role? Yeah. The redesign of the Naira, the CBN monetary policy.
Yes, that was another stroke, a master stroke by. I'll give it not to the INEC, I'll give it to the president and in conjunction with the CBN. Indeed, I'm being honest with you, what you are seeing today from the various results that have come in already is a true reflection, at least to 80 to 85% true reflection of the people's will. Because outside of that, it would have turned the other way around. People don't have money, to do that, to go do vote buying and all of that. I was there 2 weeks ago, and I said that will help us. It will help strengthen our political system, and then also help our electoral process, because people are no longer induced. And then, so with this, whoever that will be, by the grace of God, that will be the next president, if it consolidates on this achievement, I tell you, before the second or is next or second election cycle, that vote buying or inducement will be phased out completely. It did affect people. Didn't have money, and those even that we were thinking that, well, with 1,000 you will convince them to vote either way. Nobody was even interested. The enthusiasm with which people came out for this election is unprecedented, and I give it to the youth. I doff my cap for the youths. The youths of this nation really made me proud. Even though I'm no longer a youth anyway, but the comrades, they made me proud, because you can see how resilient they are, how enthusiastic, how convinced they are in taking back what rightly belongs to them. In Ilugwe, for instance, 008, people slept there. They refused to go. They refused to go because the INEC staffs said they don't have the letter or the code to. They said all of them will stay here. The officers were begging them to go to INEC headquarters. They said they are not going there. The thing will be done here. Everybody, people have to turn on their vehicle lights, on all of them, and everybody stayed there till morning. So it's something that is commendable. Look at the other woman that was stabbed on her forehead, on the eyes. She went, had a,
to get treatment and came
back and got them. These are heroes for me. Chioma Chukwuka was holding on to onto their ballot box when they wanted to take it at Lekki yesterday. These are heroes for me that have really made me proud, and that's why I'm giving it all to the youths.
Comrade Ken Okoli, how would you rate the electorate? Did the electorate learn any lessons from the previous elections?
Yes, of course. There's an improvement in the entire process. One is that the election this time around, unlike the previous one, money did not play the role. Last time money played the role. This time around, money didn't play the role because of what? There's just cash crunch, cashless policy. Nobody was expecting anything from the politicians. So, and they came out as nothing. They came out in mass to vote, to exercise their civic duty as citizens who are the employers of these people who represent us in government institutions. That's one thing. And I give kudos to the electorates, especially the youth, young people, we, the young people. And we demonstrated faith in our fatherland, our belief in our country. It's so much excited this time around, believing that the INEC is the umpire, will be unbiased throughout the process, especially in the area of electronic transmission of this result. This process takes this way: get accredited, do the voting, then the vote counting, and entering the result in the paper. Then reporting this result to the INEC server.
That is the most important
It's very important, because sometimes you see where the electorate do their voting, do their own part, then when the umpire, the INEC staff is taking the result to the collection, so-called collection center, something will happen where 10 turns to 100 or 100 turns to 1,000 in the transit in taking this result to the collection center. So you now see discrepancy where at the polling unit the party agent is reporting something, but at the collection center that result is no longer the same. But then INEC said that this reporting pattern will now be electronically transmitted. So you don't need to bring the whole army, the whole police, security agencies to protect this result when they are taking them to the collection center. No more. No more. That's one thing that is unique in this particular election. Electronic transmission is very key because fraudulent system, the fraudulent part of this electoral system is when the result is being taken to the collection center, they manipulate the result.
Yes, as you said, Honorable, the transmission of the results, it happened at Rome in one of the polling. So the lady said, no, there's no network. When there is network, I will send it. They said, no, send it now. When network returns, when there is network, it will deliver. So let's look at these ad hoc staff. They were trained for about a week or so. But along the line, like at Navy or so, those trained were no longer there, and people were,
Handpicked to do it.
to do the job. So, what exactly do they tell this? The INEC, the trainers should tell them send the result. Does it mean that they were not told to send the result, even though there is no network?
Yeah, you just mentioned it. You see, the thing is, the ad hoc staffs were trained briefly. Now, for me, I've put a hole on the training time for that all-important assignment. 1 week is just too short. But I know what they are trying to do is also to cut down costs and all of that. But it is, at the end of the day, if you spend half of the money and end up not achieving the aim, you have wasted even the money and the time.
Yeah.
So you better spend the money in full, budget for 2-3 weeks training for these people so that they will be properly trained. And then, of course, by the time they are finished, even if it is something like a test, let me just say examination, subject them to it to be sure that they have. But to be honest with you, in fairness, they are not. I'll tell you, a lot of them are not properly trained because I happen to have gone to one of their training sessions. The person will get up, you say, you do this, you do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 and all that. Do you understand? They say yes. Both those making noise at the back, it has been carried. At the end of the day, you don't test it with those guys. The only time they will now handle that very instrument you are talking about will be on the day of election. And you are also doing it so that they don't get, the system doesn't get corrupted. But at the same time, they only see that tape, only hold it or handle it on the day of election, that morning. Some of them from the rack center, that's the very first time they will hold on to that gadget. So at the end of the day, they will still have problems. Now again, while we were waiting during the long delay, I put a call across to the INEC state headquarters to inquire why that was happening. And they simply told me, well, of course, it's no longer secret, that most of the staffs, ad hoc staff that were trained, declined, because of insecurity. So at that point, they got information late that these people didn't show up anymore. And so they have to handpick, just make shift of whatever they can lay their hands. So some of them you see out there, I can beat my chest and tell you, never went through any indoctrination or any instruction, other than perhaps they have little knowledge of computer or something like that, and that is really a flaw. But let's still wait. My worry is that sometimes within the Southeast there seems to be a different law. That we operate in the South, and then a different law is being operated in the North. I'm not being segregational at this point, and neither am I a religious bigotry or any, trying to be any tribalistic. But the truth has to be said. So why in the south here we tend to follow the law, but up there they don't follow the law, and then nothing is done. We saw a picture of a 6-year-old boy who voted. And then the commissioner of police with Nigerian arm, oh my dear, stood and was saying that it could be genetic. I don't even understand. I've never even heard that kind of a grammar before. Genetically deprived or disadvantaged or challenged. How can a small boy there you are looking at will now become an adult in the glare of people, and then an officer of the law is right there on a national TV defending such an act? It would have been more honorable for the commissioner to say, well, I've not seen such a thing before, until I see such, then I can make comment. That's how let me not use the word intelligent people. But for you to begin to defend that young little boy, who in all honesty is not up to 10 years, and he's showing you that he voted, he spoke in Hausa, that he voted and showed you his finger. Now the question is, the electoral officer that gave that little boy, that accredited that little boy, what was in his mind? What is he thinking? Now, where can that happen within the south or southeast?
Southwest.
It can't happen. But then the thing is going on there, and nobody blinks an eye about it. Everything, so we are praying and believing that, this we'll just we need deliverance.
Yes. Quickly before we go, comrade, how long do you think it will take Nigeria to get the process right?
Well, technology should be at our own advantage in this kind of exercise. There's one of the videos I watched via WhatsApp platform where it was a Lekki. The video showed just short video showing people enjoying, mirroring while they are casting their vote. I just say, wow, this is like it should be something that should be like this. Future, I see in future where election will be a kind of feasting, so to say.
Exactly.
Feasting. Come and express yourself. Once in a period, maybe 4 years or thereabout, people come out and demonstrate the ownership of their country, ownership of their state, without being coerced, without being harassed, without being intimidated. But it becomes something that will no longer be a kind of a do or die affair where lives will be lost, a lot of properties will be damaged. It will not look as if when it comes to that time we'll go backward. But we're moving on as a nation. When it comes to election period, we'll go backward. No, I don't see this in the future. I see a kind of feasting during the election period.
Very consistent facts. Yeah, well, we want to thank you, Honorable 30 seconds.
Well, of course, as always, I want to thank the Anambra. You guys did well. We are so very proud of you.
Yeah.
And all over the nation, all the youths, I doff my cap for you all. And gone were the days, and as now the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today, and you have proven that through this election. The will of people are not subverted. You all will see that you have really taken over your nation, and then of course you are now the leader for today. People should no longer drive, be at at the receiving end of the mishaps of the drivers. So we need to take it. So
Thank you. We appreciate you, Honorable Dr. Timothy Fedorama, House Member representing in Jikoka 1 in the Anambra State House of Assembly, and of course, Comrade Ken Okoli, Asatu President Youth Wing. Thank you very much for coming to the program. Right, on behalf of Don Onyenji and of course everybody in the house here, I am Eze Onwuchi. I wish you well. See you again. Bye for now.